Everyone laughed at this guy's house until they see what's inside. This guy served in the military as a pilot for almost 30 years. When he retired in his 60s, he bought a small little house in San Francisco, California. But the problem was, almost everyone in his neighborhood was super rich and pretty much lived in mansions. Because of this, his neighbors refused to speak to him and laughed whenever they saw him. One day, when he was sitting on his front porch, a bunch of rich teens showed up at his house and started making fun of him. At first, he was upset, but then he decided to invite the kids inside. And little did they know, he was hiding the biggest secret in the entire neighborhood. In the basement, there was a full-size flight simulator that he spent millions of dollars building. Suddenly, everyone in the neighborhood was begging to use it, and he never let any of them.
Facts that will mess with your perception of time. The last believed living former slave in America died 15 days after Disney World was open. We didn't know that a meteor killed the dinosaurs until 1991. That's around the same time that the movie Home Alone was in theaters. Starry Night was painted in the same year that Nintendo became a company. The first episode ever of Doctor Who was released the night after JFK's assassination. Harriet Tubman was still alive for another month after Rosa Parks was born. The first college football game was played only 4 years after the end of the Civil War. The Eastern Roman Empire fell only 40 years before Christopher Columbus landed in the Americas. This means that plenty of people who considered themselves Romans heard of the discovery of the New World. Follow for more.
Drake killed XXX. Now, you may have seen there's been this theory going around all over social media the last few weeks, and it is absolutely mental. The theory is that after all these years, Drake is the one that was behind what happened to X. Now, let's have a look. Why do people believe this? Now, a long time ago, X posted this on his story, and I mean, that's sus. Then there are some lyrics from Drake in some of his songs which also are very sus. Have a read of the highlighted part right here. There was also another Drake lyric which said, if you held your tongue, you'd still be alive. Now, it has been clear for a long time that the two never really got along, and in posting this a while ago, it is extremely weird. Now, what happened to X was tragic, and it was probably just a robbery gone wrong, but there are a lot of people that believe it was actually Drake. Now, a lot of these rappers do have affiliation with gangs and stuff, so it's not impossible that this did happen, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below what you think, and hit that follow button.
Facts that will mess with your perception of time. If you put the universe's 13.8 billion years into a year-long timeline, here's what it looks like. The Big Bang occurs January 1st, 12 a.m. The Milky Way galaxy forms on March 16th. Our solar system takes shape September 2nd. The formation of Earth follows shortly after on September 6th. The first complex cells emerge on Earth November 9th. Dinosaurs appear on Christmas and are extinct by December 30th. All of recorded human history starts on the night of December 31st at 11:59 p.m. Jesus Christ is born at 11:59 and 55 seconds. The average human life only lasts about 1/4 of a second on this timeline, less than the blink of an eye, which is 1/3 of a second.
Weird facts that will make you say, what? Firstly, does everybody remember this iconic photo when Muhammad Ali knocked out Sonny Liston in 1965? Well, in the background, you can see every spectator looking confused because the punch that he landed didn't seem that hard. Well, it turns out Sonny's wife later reported that he stopped because he had a bad case of diarrhea. Next, between the years 1940 to 1970, Harvard required freshmen to pose in nude photos because they believed this could be linked to their personality and also intelligence. Now, this is something I've never seen. 9 years ago, to demonstrate that dynamic steering for Volvo, they led a hamster steer an FMX truck by simply leading the hamster with a carrot on the wheel. I don't know if this is absolutely terrifying or quite amazing. Finally, according to online resources, I was today years old when I found out that the Tom and Jerry show was originally made for deaf people. Who would have known?
The weirdest laws that still exist around the world. In Switzerland, you will go to jail if you only have one guinea pig. Because they are social animals and only having one would be considered animal cruelty. Moving on, if you get caught feeding pigeons in Venice, Italy, you're going to jail for at least 1 day. And in Georgia, it's illegal to tie a giraffe to a street pole. If you do, you'll get a $1,200 fine and go to jail. But the giraffe gets to walk free for some reason. And apparently in South Carolina, we would basically all go to jail because it's illegal to play video games on Sundays. Google it.
This is what people from 100 years ago thought the world would look like today. Firstly, people thought firefighters would wear wingsuits to fly around saving people. Another solution for fires was their idea for weather controlling machines. Next, they predicted we'd have automatic moving sidewalks. We were also supposed to have underwater seahorse races and eel races. I must have missed that. Speaking of the ocean, people thought we'd have underwater buses driven by tamed whales. Next, they predicted video calling, and they were actually pretty close with this one. Lastly, people thought everyone would get around on flying taxis. These would be amazing.
Saudi Arabia has just shocked the world by releasing the first look at their upcoming city called The Line. They are quite literally in the works of creating an entire city which is stacked 500 meters high, making it taller than the Empire State, stretching it out a staggering 170 kilometers in length, which for perspective would take the average human over 40 hours to walk, and then housing all of that in a mirrored glass wall. This linear city will eventually be home to a whopping 9 million residents, and the suburbs are essentially segments along this line which, and this is the crazy part, are organized in 3 dimensions. And because of that added third dimension, depth, everything you need in your daily life, such as your home, work, schools, shopping, are all within these 5-minute walk neighborhoods. And if you want to go visit Matey down the line, all of their services will operate with AI and run autonomously, making it possible to travel from one side all the way to the other in just 20 minutes. And because there will be no need for cars, the city will have 0 carbon emissions, and their energy and water supplies will be 100% renewable. In fact, they are so confident in their design, they had the audacity to create a model of what New York would look like if they adopted the same infrastructure as The Line. They've also strategically located this city so that 40% of the world can travel there in just a 6-hour flight, and is surrounded by both the ocean and mountains, giving the residents immediate access to nature. And just to make things even crazier, The Line is just one of the 3 projects that Saudi Arabia are working on, which of course I'll be making separate videos about. And while there's no official release date for when this could be complete, The Line is a large part of the country's Vision 2030 program. So the question is this somewhere you would want to live?
What would happen if everyone flushed at the same time? Alright, so imagine if everyone in the world flushed their toilets at the same time. In short, it would basically be like a giant wave of water rushing through the pipes, and if everyone was to do it at the exact same time, everything would get blocked and some poop water might come back up and flood your bathroom. So let's just hope we never have to do this in our lifetime.
You won't believe the actual size of these things. This is what the rusty spotted cat looks like. But this is its size compared to a leaf. It is less than 2 pounds and is the smallest cat in the world. Next, this is what your average tree looks like. And this is the largest tree in the world compared to a human. Imagine the treehouse you could build in this. I was today years old when I found out that streetlights were this big, and why is this terrifying? Next, we've all seen the moon in the sky, but this is what it would look like if Saturn replaced our moon. Wow. It is extremely rare to see a moose, but if you do, be careful because they are gigantic and could probably crush your car. Okay, here are your average looking crystals, and here are what crystals look like in a mine compared to humans. Wow.
An iceberg as big as London has broken off the ice shelf in Antarctica. Glaciologists with the British Antarctic Survey says it measures about 600 square miles. This is similar to the size of Greater London. Take a look at this incredible yet terrifying video. They say it broke off from the Brunt ice shelf, and researchers said they'd been monitoring it since 2019 after noticing a crack forming. They're calling it Chasm 1 and continue to monitor this situation.